Hi, FlossTube Stitchers. A few of our customers are, well, probably more than a few, but a few that I know of are switching from their Easter and spring displays into summer and patriotic. And so we have some new shop models that we haven't had before. I'm going to start with the ones from Phyllis Wakefield. And the first one is Bent Creek Quaker Easter Egg. And when she offered it to me, she said, I know you already have a model and maybe you don't want this, but the one we have is stitched on a different color fabric and it's bigger. And I think it's fun for people to see how things look on different counts and in different frames. And it gives them an idea for changing it beyond what the designer showed on the chart cover. So I don't mind taking this off her hands until she's ready to get it back. And sometimes I'm looking at the other one now, and I don't know that there's any color changes, but sometimes just the different dye lots from year to year will make the model look slightly different. And often the stitcher will switch a color out for something that they already have in stock or for their favorite blue or whatever. So it'll be fun to put these next to each other so they see what they look like. And she thinks she might have stitched this on Winter Mint from Atomic Ranch. She is on the automatic program for that fabric company through my shop. And this is one of those pale greens, I think. All right, and then the next one, she just got framed recently, I believe. And you know what, I'm gonna show you the chart first because I think it didn't get as much attention as I thought it would when it came out. It's so much prettier in person. I think this, I know you're looking through plastic here because I didn't take it out of the bag, but I feel like the picture is a little dark. So it's called The Rabbit and the Rose by With Thy Needle and Thread. And this is Phyllis's beautiful stitched model of it. And I don't know that she made any drastic changes. I just think it's prettier in person. She did it on 40, I believe. That's what it looks like to me. And she did some little fluffy French knots for the bunny's tail and framed it simply so all the detail in the design would show up nicely. And I love it. It's so cute. Not necessarily just for Easter, but she was ready to move on, I guess. All right, and then we have two from Marlene, and I had dropped off some custom framing for her a couple weeks ago, and she had her, it was after Easter, but she had her Easter up, but she also had some of her patriotic out. And so while we were talking and she was looking at the things she was picking up and paying for, she said, oh, hey, let's just take these down and you can have them. So she put the patriotic right up on the wall where we removed some of these. So this I had never seen before, so I must not have been here when she dropped it off and or picked it up. And it's called Easter Notes by Shepherd's Bush. And we have her autumn and Thanksgiving notes, and I didn't realize that she had done any other season. I'm holding it at an angle because of the glare. So anyway, we're happy to have that. We've never had that model from anybody before. And then if you follow me on social media, you saw this yesterday. This is Penelope and Peep, part of the A Sip of the Seasons series by Stitching with the Housewives. And I had it on Facebook and Instagram yesterday. And I believe, let's see, Easter Notes was the one she took off the wall. This, I believe she just got framed, even though she stitched it in 21. It was one of the more recent ones. She did it on a beautiful denim hand-dyed Lugana. And the frame is really interesting that our framer picked out with the rubbed off edges showing another color underneath. That's always fun. And I wanted to show you the other ones in the series. So let's see, is this, yes, this is what I'm going to do as the giveaway this week. You You can actually have your choice of any of these charts in case you already own Penelope or aren't into bunnies or don't decorate for spring. So there's Penelope and Peep. And in the comments, you can just say the first name, the first word of the title. So you can put Penelope for this one. They did theirs on blue as well, but they had hand dyed their own Monaco. So they dyed it with a denim shade, and then they coffee tea dyed it over it. And Marlene just used a commercial hand dye. All right, then there's Clovis and Stanley. So the crow is Clovis. Ronnie and the bees. Ronnie is the cow. Let's see, let's do Sam and Liberty. And Rudolph and Mrs. Claus. I just love Rudolph's pajamas. It's so cute. And then there are 3 other ones. Floyd and Flurry is the winter one with the fox. Calvin and Trixie is a Halloween one with the black cat. And Jolly St. Nick and Rudolph is a second Christmas one, because you can't do Santa without Mrs. and vice versa. I guess that's how Priscilla felt. So you can, to see those, you can go to the Stitching with the Housewives Etsy shop and look those up. And just give me the, the first main name of the title in your comment. And then next time I'll do a random number generator and pick a winner for that. And then for my vintage stitch, I actually found it today when I was looking for something else. I was searching through my older boxes of jewelry, things I don't wear that often. Some things may need to be fixed or polished, and I didn't find what I was looking for. I'll have to show you that another time. But what I came across was this sweet little pin, and I don't know why it wasn't with my Easter pins, because I have a little like plastic shoebox with a lid, and I have all of the holiday pins that I wear frequently in there so that they're handy. But this was someplace else. I did not make this. I'm sure somebody made this as a gift through one of my stitch groups or Secret Pal things. And I don't even remember. I don't remember getting it. I don't remember who stitched it for me, but it's really sweet. And it's just sewn together. It's the same Aida on the back, so it's really easy to sew it together. And I need to either wear this, or I could put it in the middle of a big bow on something, on another finish. So I need to keep this out so I remember that I have it. So that was my vintage stitch, even though it wasn't my stitching. And then it reminded me of this series of charts by Ink Circles. Have you seen the Rabbit series? So I had refreshed my memory about these. They originally came out in 21, and I have been working on collages for the monthly series that are out there, and I'm trying to pick a variety of different ones each month instead of showing the same companies. And this was one of the ones that I was thinking of using. However, the months don't really mean anything here. It's not the flower of the month or the birthstone of the month or an animal of the month. They're all rabbits, and they don't necessarily, like almost all of them look like they could just be put out for spring. So they're all really cute, but I didn't think it fit the monthly series that well, except for maybe January. I love Januaries. I really do need to stitch this one of these days. It's very cute. So I'm going to show you these. I'm out of 2 of the months, and I'll show those at the end because I have the pictures queued up on my phone. So that's January, February, and they look like hearts. The flowers look like hearts, so I get that one. And then this is March. I'm out of April. This is May. June. Actually, that could be for February too, because it has a bunch of hearts on it. This is July. And while I do appreciate that not every July needs to be patriotic, there's, I don't know, there's nothing to distinguish that from spring. And then this is August. This is September, which I think is really cute. And this is October. I'm out of November, and then this is December. And so December, you know, I could use a couple of these months in the collages, but when people go and look at the whole series, they might be disappointed that it really doesn't look like a monthly series. So this is April, sorry. And this is November, which, you know, it looks like they're getting carrots out of the ground, which is kind of, you know, Northeast Ohio. That's not the time that we do that. But anyway, I wanted to refresh people's memory about this series because I do think they're really cute. And even if you only do a couple of them for spring, that's fine. It was still worth showing you, I thought. And then you can't see the border very well, but this is a picture from Tracy's website that shows all of them done on one piece of fabric. And the border, let's see if I can, the border is a really delicate white that goes around all the pieces. So it's really cute. And all these bunnies that I was showing today reminded me of that. If I had been better prepared, I would have ordered the 2 charts that I was missing so that I would have them, but I just thought of it today. So that's Rabbit Rabbit, and that's what I called my floss tube for today. And I don't believe I've ever heard this before, but Tracy said that, you know, you say Rabbit Rabbit on the first day of the month and it brings you luck. So I had to do some digging around and see what I could find about that. And it seems to be a tradition from centuries ago, but from England. And different variations of the story say you say it once, twice, or 3 times. And she heard the story about saying rabbit, rabbit. Apparently, if you say it 3 times, you might get, well, you're supposed to get an unexpected gift by the end of the month. But it's supposed to bring you good luck if it's the first thing you say on the first day of the month. Now, I don't believe in those kinds of superstitions, but I just thought it was a fun story. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything about it. Oh, and they were wondering why they picked a rabbit. Somebody suggested that it could be any word, but I don't know how any word. Then anybody can just make up their own rules and their own superstitions. But they said maybe they chose the rabbit because a rabbit's foot is supposed to be lucky. Tell me why a rabbit's foot is supposed to be lucky. It wasn't lucky for the rabbit, was it? I don't know. That's kind of weird. But another source said that they could have chosen a rabbit because the rabbit is like jumping into the future, or let's see, jumping into the future and moving ahead in life and happiness. So anyway, tell me if you've ever heard about that before. Okay, I think that was it there. As far as my stitching goes, I started a new project this month. I've wanted to do this ever since I saw it advertised for the Nashville market. I love Heart and Hand and I love strawberries, and this just appealed to me in all ways. I'm not changing any of the colors except I think I'm just using 3866 instead of the overdyed white because I had it handy. But anyway, I started that and I got pretty far. It's been 2 weeks since I last showed you stitching, and I've only worked on 2 projects. So this is how much I got done. And I think it's going pretty fast for all the fussy little parts to it. It's going quickly because I'm only using 1 strand. You know how that goes. I just feel like you stitch faster that way. But the funny thing is, this is 28 count. One more, no. Okay, I had to refresh my memory because she has 2 samplery neutrals and I couldn't remember which one this was, but this is One More Reproduction by Brandy at Bestitch Me. It's 28 count, but it does measure higher, so it shrunk a lot more than other 28s I've worked on. And so 1 strand is working out well, so yay for me. And what else was I going to tell you about this? No, I guess that's it. I guess that's all I was going to tell you. There's a border at the bottom where there's two colors in the middle. And you know how sometimes you do one color and then you do another color, and then when you add the remaining color, maybe it looks a little messy or they're overlapping funny in the holes. And I thought that I would do something different and follow the lead of people that do a lot of full coverage pieces. And I'm going to thread 2 needles, one for the light green and one for the white. And I'm going to do a green stitch and then a white stitch and then a green stitch and then a white stitch, and just see, because this isn't that big of an area, so it won't be too bad. It won't annoy me that much to do it that way. But I'm just going to see if I think the stitching looks better that way. I would ordinarily do the color first and then add the white last, so the white pops out more, but I'm going to try this. I didn't get to that part yet, but I'll let you know next week how that's going. All right, then I had a finish. I told you this would go quickly. So I was working on Spring from Flossabilities, and I didn't iron it yet. I was going to iron it before I showed it to you, and then I thought, no, I think I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I had this hoop. I don't know where it came from. It's not something that we sell. I think it was donated for our prison ministry that we used to do, and it might have been in the last carload of things that they did not accept. It was still during the COVID, era, but it was 2021, I think. So I don't know, but they wouldn't accept my donation even though I had an appointment. So anyway, it could have been in that load of donations that had been made. But what I'm wanting to show you is that it has this really big, not just a lip on the edge like the Susan Bates hoops, but it has this really deep ridge in the middle. And so when you put it in there, it does get really tight. And I'm working on 32 count honeysuckle from Weeks Dye Works, and this is their non-Zweigart base, and it's kind of loose and soft. And so I don't know if you'll, oh yeah, okay, so you see the ridges? You can see like every place, and of course I had to move it because it was, necessary to finish the whole design. So what I did to, help me out was remove the hoop every night, which you're supposed to do, but I never do that. But I decided in this case I was going to remove it every night. Isn't it cute though? And then after I removed the hoop, I took the I took the fabric and I stretched it in both directions so that some of the creases came out immediately. And then that sat overnight, and then the next day when I was ready to stitch, I put the hoop back on. I think it will iron out because it seems to be stretching out. Like, I'm sure my framer would not have any trouble with it, and she doesn't even require pieces to be ironed. In fact, she'd probably prefer that you didn't, but I always do my own, and I don't think there'll be a problem, but I just was interested if you had ever seen a hoop like that. I can't find any brand identification, and none of the companies that I order hoops from have anything like this. So I thought it was an interesting little test. It's a good size to use when you have to move around a smaller piece. But anyway, so I had one whip and one finish. Then we got some new product this week. This is the automatic Belle Soie from Classic Colorworks, Foo Flamingo, Lemonade, and Pickle Relish. And so those have mostly gone out to people on the automatic. And you can still get these. Actually, Diane makes it very easy for us to increase our numbers. I've increased my numbers twice, and I can do it again, if I want to. So if you're interested, let me know. And then we got the Primrose Cottage. And this was the Rip It needle minder that was missing last time. So we got more of those in. They're 13. And then there was a spring chickie for 10. And I'm thinking that this didn't go with any charts this year, so it might have been from a previous sip and stitch box, maybe. I'm really behind in watching FlossTubes, so I don't know the story behind that one, but it didn't go with anything in particular right now. And then the American U is matching this new series of charts. So this is American U for 9. American Alphabet for 10. And American Celebration for 14. Love it. And I like that it's not coming out the week before July 4th. I like that we have some time to work on these things. Okay, so that is all of my stitching for today. Let me just check my list. Yes, I think I did everything there. What I'm going to add at the end is about a 4.5-minute video from my visit to the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo on Monday. My niece Kelsey was in from Colorado. Her husband John had a meeting in Maryland, and it just so happened that it was right after Mother's Day weekend, so they made the trip up for Mother's Day. And we had a lovely Mother's Day brunch at my brother's house and got to play with June, and that was fun. My dad got to spend some time with her because he can't travel out to see her. And then on Monday we went to the zoo, and it was just so much fun. And just I would love to show you lots of photos because she is so adorable and she's so photogenic. She is the spitting image of her dad, and it's just, she's so funny. But they don't want her picture out until she's ready to say that it's her idea. So there's one picture of them from behind that I put in the video. So enjoy that, and we will see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.